Hey YouTube, another video for you today on, guess what, Ableton Push 3 controller version, because I'm not doing enough videos on this. Anyway, I love this controller, I've had it for the past month, and what I like to do is these short videos passing on any tips that I find useful that may be useful for you. You might find some value on them as well. It's just a bit of a random one today. It's on kind of like navigation of this device. And I'm going to talk about these four buttons here, top buttons above the screen and the ones below the bottom as well as the jog dial and the D-pad. Okay, let's get into it. Let's just start with what we see right in front of us now. And I'll let you know on this is not a track, it's just I just put some clips in there so I can show what I'm talking about. Basically, I have got 10 tracks, okay? And when I was navigating through the tracks, normally what I would do is by default, I thought I could scroll through them, but no, you just move your jog wheel across. Oh, let's go to scene 1. And you can get to, like, I've got to my 10th track here now. And then obviously I'm going to go into my sends. I've only got 2 sends, and then eventually onto the master track. You can see I'm on the master track because everything's kind of on the pad has disappeared. And this light here is lit up, okay? So I'm on scene 4. On the master track. If I push one more to the left, then I go to my last send, which happens to be delay on send B. Okay, I can do the same thing using my D-pad navigator. Yeah, and of course, a little, obviously, if you wanted to select that track number 8 or this one or whatever, you can use the bottom row of buttons, okay? So basically in this default state, these bottom rows of buttons, they select the track, okay? And I'll give you a little tip. Say you're on track 1 and you want to get to your last track or you want to get to your sends. What I was doing before was you can either, press or press, or do the same with the navigator buttons. Or you can just press and hold and it will skip all the way across and you go back to what track you want. Say I wanted to get to track 10 and now I wanted to get back to track 1. I can press the jog wheel or the D-pad and you can see it goes back there. One little tip I like to do is if I know I want to go on to the next screen of tracks, I just press this and it's just a few less presses for you to do. Okay, so I'm on track 10 and I got there by going to the last track and then pressing the button a couple of times, okay? So I'm on track 10. The leftmost track I've got is track number 4. If I want to go back, say, to track 2 or 1, I press this and I go 1, 2, 3. See, it's just less clicks, okay? So they're going like this or holding it and normally overrunning and then coming back. I just go to the leftmost, couple of clicks to whatever track I want to get into, whatever, yeah? Just a little tip. So as I was saying, when you're going up and down with the scroll wheel, you're actually going through the scenes, okay? So let's go back. You'll probably notice that some of the buttons were actually flashing. Okay, I'm on scene 1. Okay, I'm on scene 1. On track number 1, 2, 3, I've got 2 clips. I don't have a clip on scene 1. On track number 4, I have a clip. Track 4, I have a clip on scene 1, okay? But there's no flashing going on. Let's go across to my 10th track. Have I got anything there? Let's go back to scene 1. No, I don't. Okay? So let me skip back, use my own advice and skip back. And so let me go down to scene 2 and watch the buttons at the top. Okay, so these 2 buttons are flashing. What does that mean? When I was on all the other scenes, I didn't get any button flashing, but when I go to scene 2 for some reason, they're flashing. That just means that when you press play on your push, that these 2 clips on scene number 2, they're going to play. Something is going to come out of your speakers as long as you've got enough volume, okay? And if you go through to your other tracks, you can see on scene 2, nothing else is flashing. Yeah, I've got nothing there, okay? So let's just jump back here. And if I go down to the next scene, scene 3, I don't have any lights flashing there. That means that no clips on these 8 tracks. None of them are active, none of them are going to play. And of course, just go right across. It keeps jumping down. I don't know why it keeps jumping down to the scenes when I'm using the navigator. Okay, let's see. No, we've got nothing here that's going to play either. To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure why that one is grayed out, but anyway, we'll get back to that in a second. Okay, so let's go down to scene 3, scene 4. So basically that's what that means, okay? It means that if something's flashing, something's going to play in that scene. Okay, now let's just look at the status of the buttons here now. This one, for some reason, this button is like a kind of rosy colour and the rest of them are white. So what does that mean? Can I go over to my other... Let's see if that changes scene actually. No, it stays on 4. Maybe I'm moving that by accident. So I'm on scene 4. And this is flashing because you know on scene 4 this clip is going to play. For some reason this one is grayed out. I don't know why. Let me keep going across. Okay, that's good. That means that I've got some sounds going through one of my sends as well. And that's why that's flashing on the send track. Okay, because some of the sounds is being processed. Okay, through that particular device on this send track. Let me go back. Very strange that it jumps. I definitely didn't touch that jogger. Let's go down to scene number 5. What's the status there? We've got just white lights here. We've got a kind of rosy coloured light there. Yeah, that jumps up to 4. I don't know why it does that. Let's go across. What we got here? Nothing. It's just white lights. Okay, let's go back to the first one. And you can see the rest of the lights here are the same colour, more or less, as the track name above, yeah? This one is blue for my Microfreak, Nord Drum, blah, blah, blah. This one is yellow, so I would expect that one to be yellow. No, this is telling me that this track is selected on the bottom row. It's telling me this track is selected and it's also record enabled. I don't know if this is the right one because if I look in live, the actual record button is not a bright red, it's like a muted red. So let me press and hold and see if that colour changes. No. An Ableton Live, I know you can't see it, but over here, it's a really bright red on the record button, but it stays the same colour. But what it means is that this track is, if I play some sounds, terrible, yeah, I know, that this is record enabled. If I go to my Microfreak, you see what's happened? This is at the top row is telling me this is the one that's record enabled. So if I'm in note mode on this or I'm playing my keyboard, that some sound is going to come out here. Carrying on, so I'm on scene number 3. I don't have anything flashing here for scene 3. It keeps jumping up. I think what it does, if it finds a clip, it just automatically jumps up or down. So because it's expecting you to want to play that content. But let me go back to number 3. Okay. Let me select this track actually. Very strange that this one is grayed out. I'm not sure why. But anyway, I'm on scene 3. I've got all white buttons apart from that grey one. Go back to scene 3. So it looks like nothing is going to play. Even though I've got content in track number 3, it's not flashing, so it means that this clip is not going to play. I know the one above is because it's kind of halfway through what it was playing. Okay, and let me check what workflow mode I'm in. I've got status highlighted. I've got clip workflow highlighted. So what would happen now if I press the jog wheel or the center of the D-pad button? Nothing's going to happen. It would just actually start recording because this track is record enabled, as it tells me there, and this track is selected. And so let's just try that. And you'll see, if I go into this clip by going into the actual clip button, you'll see there's nothing there. There's actually no notes in there because it just recorded a blank thing. I didn't enter anything, yeah? So let's go back here. I'm going to press delete to delete that clip. And what it did was it actually played, even though it's not flashing, yeah, if I go up to this, it's a shame it doesn't actually still flash regardless of what scene you're in, but I guess it makes logical sense, yeah? That on scene 2, these two are going to play. On scene 3, this one isn't going to play, and so on and so forth, yeah? It just lets you know what's going on. And this basically is emulated on the pads. If I go onto, because at the moment I'm on note mode, if I go into scene mode on the pads, you can see this is emulating what's up there. These two are flashing, and if I come down to there, this one is not flashing because it's not going to play. But let's do that. Let's trigger this one. I'm just going to come across because I'm in, and you see when I use the jog wheel, you see the whole row is highlighted in red. It's not done on the scene screen, it's only on the pads. But if I go down and I highlight the next one, which is actually this one, you can see these two are going to play and this one isn't. I'm going to trigger this one, and this one should be flashing and playing now. Okay, and that's the case. So if I go, let me just select this. So if I go back here, I'm on scene 3, and only this one is record enabled, as you know, from the little rosy light. On scene 3, this clip is going to play. Let's go back. Scene 2. On scene 2, only this one's going to play. Basically, it's reflecting what's on here. Okay, that's just another little tip to talk about when it comes to navigation. A little bit confusing, I know, but you can just play with it every day and it will slowly seep into your brain. Okay, so that's kind of like track, scene, clip, navigation, top buttons. What do they mean? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about these 4 buttons here. Let's ignore the lock for now. What I was doing before when I was playing something, okay, I'm on track 1. What I didn't realize was what I was doing by default is if I wanted to keep the sequence of playing, but I wanted to stop like multiple tracks, I would press hold and I would press the bottom button and press that to stop that, stop this track, stop that track, stop that track, okay? And that's fine and good, but by default, if you have a track selected, yeah, and you notice when I press and hold the stop button that these flash, these buttons flash to let me know, yes, that these 2 tracks are playing, yeah? And if you're really sharp-eyed, you'll see that on scene 2, the top button is only flashing because scene 2, only that clip is playing. Whereas when I press and hold the stop button, these 2 are flashing regardless of which scene it is. It's telling me these 2 are playing content, okay? So what I used to do, I used to press hold and it's to go boom, 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 as I said before, to stop the tracks. But what I didn't realize you could do is if I have, let's go back. If I had like this track selected and I wanted to just stop this track, which is, I only want to stop 1 track normally, I just need to press stop and it will stop it and this will stop flashing, yeah? I didn't realize, I thought even if I had the track highlighted, I still had to hold down the stop and press that track and stop that one. No, I don't. I just need to press stop now. And basically, that track is not going to play, only this one. So let's prove it. You can see this is flashing here. I press stop, that's not going to play. And if I did press play, only this clip will play. Yeah? See, it's not playing. Okay? So I didn't know that. I didn't know you could just, whatever is highlighted, you can just stop it. And yeah, like this one's highlighted. If I press stop, it's going to stop. I kept holding it. To holding stop first and selecting, you don't need to. That's cool. The same applies to mute, okay? So let me play that again. Same applies to mute. This track is selected. If I mute it, those hats cut out, yeah? I can select my main beat, it's selected. I know I can press any one of these buttons and it's gonna affect this track. So I can mute the main beat, yeah? I can solo it as well, and that's cool, yeah? I really like that. It's only when you have the other tracks that are not selected that you want to solo them, then you press the button, and then I could just solo the hats, for example, and unsolo, yeah? So that's pretty cool. Basically, this, when you hold down the button, this button will replace the default behavior. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So if I press and hold stop now, these are now stop buttons for all of the tracks, regardless of which track I have with content playing. This is now stop because I'm holding it down, yeah? Go back to the first ones. Same with mute. If I press and hold mute, these are no longer track select buttons, these bottom ones. These are now all mute buttons. Yeah? I'm holding it down, they're all mute. Okay, same with solo. I press and hold solo. These are now solo buttons. I know it's hard to get into your head, but this is what that is, yeah? Okay, which is good. And what this lock button does, it emulates you pressing and holding down the button. So if I press the lock and press stop, the stop button is going to flash, and now my hands are free to stop any track I want, yeah? I can stop this one and this one, and it's going to stop, okay? Play them again. And to get out of that, I either press stop and it unlocks it and I just carry on, or I could do the same thing. I'm going to lock mute. Now it's locked. Now these bottom buttons are all mute for all of my tracks, all of them. Yeah? So I can mute these two. I'm going to lock the solo, and now all of these are solo buttons. Yeah? So that's pretty much it. And that's really cool because it means your hands are free. When you really get a bit more experience with this, you can start really playing it like a proper instrument that it is, yeah? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave it like that for today. I covered a lot of things, not in the best way possible, but you know, like I said, as I get more experience, turn that down, come on. As I get more experience, I will share these tips with you. Hopefully they'll be in a more refined state as time goes on, but this is basically what I wanted to cover today. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. I will try to answer them. By the time I get to the comments, I should be more knowledgeable on the topic I was talking about today. Anyway, let's leave it there. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.